Prepare yourself, my friend, because you are going to war. Hopefully, it will not be a physical, total war or conventional war or nuclear war, a physical war between two groups, nations, military personnel, etc. Hopefully, you are just going to work in a philosophical statement, in a philosophical realm, but you are going to war. Nevertheless, life is war. Love is war. Art is war. Your life purpose, your mission, your dreams, your ambition, your professional career is war. Sex is war. Creativity, expression, vision, yoga, your union, your devotion to God, all of those things are war. An eternal conflict between your inferior self that is always trying to sabotage your endeavors, is always trying to sabotage your greatest potential, versus your superior self, your highest self, that is almighty, that is a visionary, a revolutionary, a teleological force in the multiverse, a potent principle, a creative, beautiful act, a poetry, a paint, a song, a divine fruit, a divine kiss. Your whole existence is war. So, in proportion of your ambition and the greatness that you will pursue, is going to be the intensity of your war. This war sometimes is more manifested externally, sometimes is more manifested in the depth of your soul internally, but it's war. And after this episode, baby, you are not just going to be ready for your war, but you are going to be fully equipped mentally, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually to win, to conquer, to love your war. And welcome, my friend, to the most transformative podcast in the multiverse. This is tan, ta, ta, tan, ta, ta, tan, 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 the Mastermind Podcast Challenge. Season 2 with your host, your favorite doctor of all time, the Papacito of Puerto Rico, Dr. Derek Israel. And this is the episode 598. Before we continue moving forward with the episode of today, I just want to mention and to demonstrate respect for the people that has gone or that is currently in a real armed conflict that is considered war. I am not a soldier. I have never been in a real war before. And I know that this episode is philosophically, is inspirational, is an artistic piece. And yes, that is art to represent something, right? To recontextualize reality. That is the function of art. And I'm an artist. I'm a podcaster. That's what I do. But I cannot underestimate the suffering, the violence, the death, the darkness that surrounds real war. So I just want to give my respect for those people, for the people that have died, died in the past or is currently dying. And by no means I want to offend no one with this episode. But I really believe that war is existential. The war that you see between nations, between religions, between ideologies, that is just a representation of the real war that is happening, and it's a infrastructural war. It's an existential war. It's an archetype. If you see one of the best movies that I have seen in the last years, it is called Samsara. Please go and watch that movie. It's going to change your perception. One of the things that Samsara demonstrates is people with arms. And Samsara, the whole objective is just to give you a brief representation of human diversity of experience, culture, civilization facets, and filaments of consciousness and imagination. And something that they could not live away is war, because war is essential for humanity. It has been with us since the beginning of time. We have been on conflict with each other. And if you want more information about the nature of conflict and the nature of war, you need to go to another episode that I go very in depth in this subject that is called War is Love, or The Nature of War is Love. Just listen to that in my YouTube or Spotify station. But war is an archetype. So we have war in different dimensions of our life, not only those between military staff. We have war in our mind. We have war in our heart. We have war in our art, in our family. Do you know how many families lives in war? I'm a clinical psychologist. So I have seen a couple of families in my practice, in my career, short career. And damn, people live in war. You may see in the outside a beautiful house, a beautiful home. But in the inside, sometimes that family lives in war. They hate each other. They fight all the time. The husband said, "Is my wife's fault." The wife said, "Is my husband's fault." And the kid says, "Is my parents' fault." And the dog said, "Is the children's fault." Everyone is blaming each other. That is war. It's an eternal conflict. It's a violent distribution of relationships, of communications, of demonstrations. of human expression, of human coexistence. So don't get fooled by how a house looks in the outside. Remember, all is war. All is war. Even that house is in war between the structure and the order of the house, the current version of the house, and the entropy that is trying to rip away the house. If you come to the same place but in a different time, maybe you come to your house in the year 3000, probably your house will be erased from existence. Why? Because entropy is a force of chaos that is always trying to break down everything, even structures as a house, buildings, urban designs, cities, cosmological entities. Is war. Every entity is in constant war with another thing. That is the tension of existence. Even your body is in tension with the space that is occupying. Other things want to occupy that space. Other forms of matter wants to occupy that space. You can see also this in politics. If you go in a more macro societal expression of war, you can see this in culture, religion, media, social media, the metaverse, business, corporations. Just look around, bro. You don't need a psychologist, philosopher, that is very cool, to tell you that everything around you, bro, is war. You just need to look around. Go to your news feed right now, in your Facebook, in your Instagram, in your Twitter, TikTok, whatever, YouTube. And I assure you that in the first post, you will be something associated to conflict, to opposition, to a problem, to war. Because it's an archetype. We cannot escape this. Now, I am not saying that it's impossible to not have a total war, a war that is violent between groups of people. Maybe that is possible. Maybe with a more conscious politics and policies and better international relationships and a more conscious humanity, maybe someday we will live a life without war. Maybe, or maybe I'm just a dreamer. But as John Lennon said in the song, I am not the only one, right? One of the most beautiful songs ever that is called, oh man, I forgot the name of that song. Oh man, how that song is. Oh, I need to recommend you that song, because if I don't recommend you that song, I will die literally. John Lennon, Imagine. The song is called Imagine. Just listen to that song. It's a very beautiful piece of art that is demonstrating also in that song, John Lennon. He's demonstrating a rebellion against war, against violence, against the status quo, against conventional structures. But notice, even a song, even music is war. If you listen to reggaeton, that is the most popular modern music genre of my country, Puerto Rico. We start that genre with a lot of pride. You know, I love it. I don't listen to reggaeton or trap anymore too much these days, but I love it. And in reggaeton, we have this thing that is called tiraera, that basically is two artists doing a lyrical war against each other. And that is something in reggaeton that people love. Is something so cultural. And notice that is just a musical genre. It's a sophisticated, complex, abstract way of existing and living and relating. You're relating through art, you are relating through musical entities, musical combinations and symbolisms and technologies. And even in that sphere, you have war. Because war is an archetype. It forms existence. If you try to deny the war that is living through you, the power of the battle, the imperial forces that are manifesting through your blood, through your bones, through your sexual energy, you are denying your essence. And then you will say, oh my God, why I'm so passive in this life? Why I'm so shy? Why I'm so afraid? Well, dude, because you are denying your war germ, your war origins, your war archetype. And of course, we have another archetype that is very popular, is the warrior archetype. I already have an episode about the warrior archetype. I think I have maybe 2 episodes about it, but I think that they are both in Spanish. So if you know Spanish, you can go and search on my YouTube channel, Derek Israel Arquetipo del Guerrero. Maybe in the future I will do a version on English. Sorry. But that archetype of the warrior is not the same as the archetype of war. War is more abstract. It doesn't need a persona. Notice the warrior is someone. The warrior is maybe an animal, a soldier, a king, a magician sometimes, a mercenary. Is someone that wants to fight, someone that wants to war, to do the war. But it's not the same as the war. You know, to love is not the same as love. You see, to connect with God is not the same as to be God. War is more primal. Love is more primal. Every time that you put a persona in the combination, it's not pure anymore. You are putting a character in something that, in the ultimate analysis, is impersonal and, of course, universal. So war is universal. So probably if we ever get an alien invasion in Earth, the probability of doing war with them is very high. Like, I don't think that they are going to be very, very friendly, right? Maybe they are, but they have war potentialities, I suppose. This is a hypothesis because it's an archetype. The sad thing is that if we just one day wake up and we see that we are invaded by aliens, we already lost. Because that means that they can travel so quickly, like probably in the velocity of light, that they are already here. We didn't even know that they were coming. And if they have that type of technology, do you think that our nuclear technology is gonna do something? No. That is only in Hollywood, man. that we win wars against aliens. In real life, if they come, oh my God, you better run, boy. You better give your last kiss, boy. I don't know. But if we are the ones that arrive to their house, to their planet, now the thing is different. Like in Avatar, the movie, we were the ones that were invading. The thing is differently. But I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing here. So you need to understand, my friend, your life purpose, your deep mission in life, whatever you build for yourself. Remember your life purpose, and you can go to my dergisral.com and enroll in my course to manifest your life purpose, to discover and manifest your life purpose. That is basically my most popular course so far. That is something that you build for yourself, bro. That is something that you build every day. You keep reminding yourself. And sometimes you lose hope. Sometimes you lose faith. But then you remind yourself who you are in your core, who you are in the essence of your soul. And then you say, what my soul wants? What is the why of my soul? What is the content that my soul is driving here? What my soul wants to materialize in existence? And then the answer, the response that you will formulate to those existential questions will be something like a life purpose, like a mission, like an inspiration for you to continue moving forward. And for you to accomplish that, to reach that, to be that, believe me, that is war right there. So maybe for you, your life purpose is to create a new movement in painting. Do you think that that is not a war? Yes, bro. You will be in war with the colors, with the light prism. You will be in war with different combinations of colors and how to represent nature. And nature will be your enemy. You see, one of the things that Van Gogh wanted to do a lot in his art is to represent the enigmatic nature, of the environment, of ecology, of landscapes. He was in war with nature. And when you see the Starry Night, my favorite paint, not only of Van Gogh, but of all time, in my opinion, dude, that is war. Just watch, observe, contemplate the Starry Night. If you can go to New York and to see it live, perfect. But just Google it if you can. If you cannot go to New York right now, and see for yourself the war that drive it. That paint. That was war. That was a psychological, philosophical, artistical war between him and nature. And let's say that you don't want to paint nature and you want to paint the psyche. You want to paint whatever you see in your mind. You don't want to paint trees. You don't want to paint the heaven. You don't want to paint clouds. You want to paint whatever comes in your mind when you use LSD and you see that in your mind. Whatever that is, you want to paint that. Well, do you think that you are not in war? Of course. Of course, you are in war, man. You are in war against your imagination. You are in war against representation. It's so difficult to represent, man. If you're an artist, you know what is the business of an artist? to represent. That is our business. I am in this episode, in this art piece, trying to represent a philosophical truth, like, or with the metaphor of war. It's difficult, but if you are a painter trying to paint whatever you have in mind, you only can do so much, because it will be always a representation. You will never have a direct representation of what you see in your mind in the canvas. Never. You only can represent, and that is war, that is conflict. You will get frustrated, you will scream, because for you it will be so meaningful. It's your life purpose, dude. One of the things why Van Gogh, he killed himself, well, that is one of the theories. Another theory is that he was shot by a couple of kids that were fooling around. But the most popular theory of his death is that he shot himself in the stomach with a gun. And one of the things that a lot of experts and he himself said before doing that is that he was so frustrated with his art. He was thinking that his art was not representing the real nature of his vision. And he was starting to get public recognition. Like, a lot of people say, oh, Van Gogh was very poor. He was a poor man. He was just an alcoholic. He just could feed himself because his brother bought his paints. That's true. That's true. He was a poor man, not famous at all for most of his life. But at the end of his life, he started to gain recognition. But that didn't matter to him anymore, because he was so frustrated with the internal war between what he had on mind versus what is on the canvas, that he could not tolerate the distress, the pain, the suffering, the gap anymore. And he suicide. That is war, man. Your life purpose is war. Be ready for it. Embrace it. Go for it. I don't want this episode to be pessimistic. I want this episode to be inspiring. At least you know what type of hell you will be facing. At least you know what type of demon you will be facing. At least you know that you are on war in this life. Don't call this life life anymore. Call it war. I'm war. I'm living my war. I'm enjoying my war. Because that is what your life is war. Also, to learn to love is war. How to love your children. What is the best way to love your son and to love your daughter? And you may say, well, Derek, I want to love them with the fullness of my heart. Yes, of course. Obvious. That is obvious. But love is about expression. If love is only a feeling, it's a stupid love. Love must be a catalyst of certain actions, lovable actions, altruistic actions, selfless actions, actions that actually propel the world forward, humanity forward, the relationship forward, right? How you do that with your children? Well, I cannot give you the specific answer, but I can tell you that is going to be war. I'm learning how to love my daughter every day since she's born. Even before she was born, when she was in her mother's belly, I was already on war in my mind. How I will love her, how I will raise her, how I will be an example. Oh my God, I will be able to do this. I am not prepared. Blah 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 blah. And not everyone has the same thoughts. Don't get me wrong. Your war is your war. My war is my war. But we all have this type of wars. To learn how to love your partner is war. Not to love the expectations that you have with your partner. Notice, some of you are in love not with your partner, but with the expectations that you have of your partner, with the image that you build. And when your partner and the image is not matching, oh man, you feel so frustrated in your relationship. Your partner is not being truthful with you. No, your partner may be truthful. The one that is not truthful is yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are supposed to be in love with the human being, not with your thoughts and ideas and schemes and concepts that you have built in your mind about other human beings. If you are only in love with those, you are in love with yourself, not with other. You see? And it's difficult. I get it. It's difficult to learn how to love. How to love? I think that is a song, right? Of Lil Wayne. It's a difficult question. How to love? Well, let me tell you an answer it will be very general. It will be not specific, but it's truth. And if you want to learn what is truth as a philosophical pursuit and virtue, you need to definitely watch my episode titled What is Truth and How to Actualize It. And the truth about love is this. Dun, 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 dun. Love is, you know, baby. You got it. Love is war. Love is war. Also, spiritual enlightenment is war. Learning to love God is war. Understanding your religion is war. To pray is war. And I will do a future episode about warfare in prayer. Um, to meditate is war. Just try to meditate for 20 hours straight and just tell me if that is not a war zone. Heck, just try to meditate 1 hour straight and just tell me if that is not a war zone. Heck, just try to meditate 30 minutes, only 30 minutes, man. And just tell me that is not a war zone. It is. You are in constantly war with your mind because your mind wants to think about the new movie on Netflix and wants to think about sex and wants to think about pizza and wants to think about whatever your mind wants to think, and you are trying to concentrate on your meditation. You are trying to bring back your attention with your breathing. You are trying to be there. You are trying to be one with the cosmos, and your mind wants to be away from the cosmos, and that is a whole chitty show. It's a circus. It's worse than a WrestleMania. It's like a Royal Rumble on your spirit, and you call that meditation. Well, let's call that war meditation, because that is what is meditation is war. Spirituality is war. Do you think that your relationship with God is gonna come easy? No, dude. Read the Quran. I always recommend you read the Quran. In the Quran, you can appreciate a lot the severity of God. God is severe. And if you think that the wisdom of God, the wisdom of consciousness, the wisdom of universal intelligence, it will come easy, if you think it will come with a lot of flow and its smoothness and a pinkful universe, like with angels and butterflies singing, la, 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 baby, you are going in a ride of deception, because that is not how a merging with God will be like. A merging with God is more like war. Right? It's like war. Dude, it's war. It's war. That's why if you study a lot of religions like the Egypt or Hinduism religion, they always portray a god that symbolizes war. Also in astrology, you have a war representation. In alchemy, in the tarot, in all the movies. Just imagine a movie without war. Imagine the Avengers movie without war. Just Iron Man and Captain America chatting tea, drinking coffee. Oh, and tell me, how did you build that suit, Iron Man? Oh, well, I built it because I was not in a war zone, by the way. Ah, by the way, he was in a war zone in the first Iron Man, right? But, I was bored. And us, by the way, boredom is war, because you are bored. You want to do something else. You are in war with the current state. Oh, I don't know how to even express a thing without expressing war. So for me, it's difficult to do this parody or this example. Just notice how intrinsic war is in everything in existence. It's like war is the DNA of existence. I know that I talk a little bit about it, but also art is war. The process of mastery, the total dominion of your art. And I will do an episode about that. Let me put it on the list. I will put it as soon as I finish this. I hope that I remember. But something that I'm inspired to do lately is to be in total dominion or domination, mastery, control of my art. And it's not control like I'm trying to control every variable, because that will be neurotic and that will compromise my art. But it's like a centralized decentralization. It's like a centralized expansion, right? So it's a good ambiguous state of mind in which I have total dominance of my art form, and at the same time I am the fool. I have the beginner's mind. I know nothing. I am like a child playing. That is total domination of your art. And to reach that state that only masters can reach, Picasso's, Van Gogh's, Mozart's, Shakespeare's, Steven Spielberg's, to be in that mastery of your art that only comes with war, man. Just listen to opera. I have been studying very profoundly music lately, and I have been exploring a lot of opera lately. And I am, when I'm listening to those opera singers and the mastery that they have in their vocal instrument, it's like, oh my god, like the I'm like, oh my god, how you do that, man? Oh, I know how you do that. You do it because you already went to war for 20 years with your own voice, with your own limitations, with your own limited beliefs, with your own weakness, and you overcame all of that. And now your voice is reflecting the fortitude that you have built through your own war. And now you have domination in your art form. And now I'm listening to that masterpiece and it's beautifying my whole consciousness. Oh, okay. Wow. 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 What is your art? What is your art form? In what type of art are you putting the work? The 20,000 hours. Back in the day when I started studying personal development very profoundly, I remember to reading that book that is called The Outliers. And in that book, it was very popularized the idea of the 10,000 hours for mastering anything in life to achieve mastery, expertise, dominion. But now people are speaking more about 20,000 hours, not 10,000. I don't know if that is a validate scientific data or maybe that is just a philosophy of people trying to double down on the work and the effort. But yeah, I don't know how many hours, but I don't think it's about hours, you see. I don't think it's only about quantity of the hours. I think that is also about the qualia, the emotional, the kairos of the thing, the synchronicities, the meaning, the profundity, the spiritual variable. We cannot measure that. We cannot measure all the constellations in the multiverse. We cannot measure how you will transform your trauma in libido, in new psychic energy, in creative energy, how you will cultivate your sexual energy and to transmute that in your art. So we cannot control so many variables. So I don't think that only 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 hours will just fit mastery of your art. But let me tell you something, war is inevitable in your art. You are going to war, baby. Also, there's a lot of technological developments in war. The internet, funny enough, is a technological development that was inspired in war as a war technology. A lot of weapons, nuclear technology advancements, nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, spatial technology like spaceships, space exploration. We arrived to the moon, if you believe that happened, in the Cold War. United States versus Russia, generally, was cold because no gun was involved, no bullets, no casualties, but they had a sport war, intellectual, philosophical, political, economical. relationship war with other nations, like who has the best relationships, the international relationships. It was a political war. But notice a lot of technology is developed in these war times, because war times are an intensification of existence. You need to do things quickly. You need to decide quickly. You need to act decisively, boldly, because here is about, in war, is about to live or to die. As Hamlet says in Shakespeare, to be or not to be. And I will do an episode about that in the future. So, what you can learn about this? Well, you will develop a lot of new technologies in your personal life if you embrace your existential war. Do you think that I just developed all these ideas because I was just bored? No. I developed this whole podcast because I'm going to war against, first, stupid people posting stupid stuff in social media, people that are not reading enough, and I try to convince them to read, to evolve. I'm in war against your inferior self. I'm in war against people not achieving their potential. I am in war against not achieving my own potential. This whole project, this whole business, this whole ambition, this whole drive, this whole discipline, this is war, man. This is technologies. This new language of English in my content. This is a technology that I use in war. Back in the day when I used to talk only Spanish, I was only going to war with a small portion of the planet. Now that I transfer to English, I am going to war with the whole world, because this is the universal language and not everyone understands it, but most people, like, if they are gonna learn a second language, it will be English. Sorry. So I'm going to war with this new technology. Every habit that you adopt is a new technology in your war, your yoga, your meditation, your affirmations, your visualization, your subliminal message that you listen in YouTube, your chakra developments, the books that you read. Those are technological artifacts of war. The Bible, the Quran, Hamlet, El Túnel. The Law of Attraction, The Secret, whatever book, man. Whatever podcast that you are listening, the Joe Rogan podcast, that is a technology developed in war. He's looking for answers. He's combating the status quo that is basically compromising information. Joe Rogan is in war. In every podcast is in war. Every movie is war. Every mythological story, just notice. Hercules, Thor, Zeus. The Mermaid, Monster Inc., The Incredibles, The Minions. I was just watching that movie with my daughter a couple of days ago. They are in war. They are in war with the heroes. They are the villains, right? They are in war with the heroes. Just notice, war is omnipresent, man. And technology is an effect of war, a development of war. And obviously, war is the ultimate expression of love. And that is an essential idea that please go to that episode that is titled The True Nature of War is Love, because that is complementary with this episode of today. So, the last thing that I want to say is that your most profound dreams are war. Your most profound expectations, your soul desires, the things that keeps you awake in the night, the things that you journal about in your journal, the things that you dream with your eyes open, the things that you see while you are having an orgasm. And hey, please don't say, I don't see nothing. You see nothing because you don't meditate your orgasm. And please don't say, I cannot meditate my orgasm. Like in people in my TikTok, they are so unconscious sometimes. And they say, I cannot even meditate on my orgasm because, it's so pleasurable. I cannot do anything just to feel. All right. What? That is because you are very unconscious. You haven't developed sophistication of sensibility yet. But yes, you can obviously meditate on your orgasm and you can see things in your orgasm, your greatest pieces of art. Albert Einstein used to do this a lot. You can see extraterrestrial formulations in your orgasms because orgasms are technology. A technology for war, for sexual warfare. Just see sex. It's conflict. Even when an egg and a sperm are about to conceive, that is a war. Just go to YouTube, man, and look for conception, 3D conception, and you will see some videos about what happened when a sperm is swimming through the through the to the egg, and how that is war. That is basically cellular warfare. There is a good book that is called Sperm Warfare. No, Sperm Wars. Sperm Wars. Read that book. It's about this, what I'm telling you. So your most profound existence is war, baby. So love it, live it, and conquer. And remember, you are going to war because you are war. Please donate in Patreon. With that money, I can sustain all these operations. Please join our chat in Telegram if you like. It's free. Also, go to derekisrael.com. Links are in the description. In my website, you can see all the courses, all the services as your coach, your personal guru, your psychologist, also all the books that I will be launching very soon. Please go to the store and see for yourself what I can offer you. And I see you in the next one.